swing it around. Sit. Sit.
Giving up is hard to do when you.
We had a good read today. Talked about the difference between learning and accumulating knowledge. It's easy to accumulate knowledge, it's like remembering facts. But it's much more difficult to learn. Off to yoga. Alright, that meditation really got me thinking, and so this vlog is going to be a little different again. I feel like I say that every single... I don't talk about this very much, but I got my undergrad in college in education, so I took just about every education class you could ever imagine. There was a teacher there who talked about the process versus the product, and how you need to focus on the process with your students and your athletes, and the product's secondary. Now, I understood this, and I coached it. I accumulated the knowledge of this, but it took me another 5 years to actually learn that. I knew exactly what she was talking about, but I didn't really know it. You know? Here, this will make way more sense. Four of some of my very best friends decided we were gonna have a guys' weekend at a cabin. We had it all planned out. We were gonna go barefoot water skiing. We were gonna launch our kite. We were gonna play with these crazy skateboards. Jam-packed weekend full of awesome guy stuff. And I know you guys have probably done the same thing where you're like, this is how it's gonna be. This is gonna be great. Everything we did failed. Everything failed. The first day we got there, the moment I got there, Sam's like, look how windy it is in the lake. We are gonna go take the paddle boards, we're gonna drive around to the other side of the lake, and we're gonna let the wind push us across, and we're gonna ride some white caps. As soon as we got on the paddle boards, the wind died down, and we ended up paddling all the way across the lake. Failure. I have this skateboard with a huge motor on it, and we were like, we're gonna go 30 miles an hour down this road on the skateboard. Couldn't get the chain to stay on. Couldn't get it even moving more than 20 feet. Didn't have any power. It was just a whole mess of shit. Failure. I brought my giant kite again. But we were like, well, it's gonna be windy again, so we'll just launch it into the water. The trees were blocking the wind, and we couldn't get it launched, and it just didn't work. The wind wasn't quite strong enough for that kite. Failure. Let's go bow fishing. We'll take these. We have 2 bows. We're gonna go bow fishing for some carp. We saw only 3 carp, and Sam shot 1. Other than that, failure. So with all this failure happening in the past, I would have been super upset. My expectations didn't match reality. I've said this a few times in other vlogs. Suffering is caused by wanting things to be different than the way they are. Chew on that for a minute. What I was missing in the past was that, yes, goal setting. Gotta have goals. Everyone talks about goal setting all the time. And the idea is goal setting is just aiming at the target. And you hope the line's as straight as you can, because a straighter line is going to get there faster. But it's never a straight line. It's all these zigzaggy lines. What I'm trying to say is, I've learned how to enjoy the process more. Skateboard failed, but we went straight into curiosity. How can we fix this problem? We spent a lot of time with each other, and we tried different solutions. The kite did not work, but in the process, Sam's dad tried to help us out, and he flipped out of the boat. Paddleboard didn't work, but that was the longest time I've ever paddleboarded across a lake. And then bow fishing. Again, more time spent with each other. And we're all just sitting there scratching our asses like, why aren't there any fish? There's always like millions of fish here. So here's where like the learning came into play. You can only really love the process if you realize you're learning something there. And learning is hard to do. And just coming to that conclusion was my way of learning. So the goal might not have been reached. We might have failed completely reaching our expectations. But in the process, we had an experience anyways. Was it the one we were shooting for? No, that rarely ever happens. Think about every time you go see a movie and you're like, this is gonna be the greatest movie I've ever seen in my entire life! And then you leave like, worst movie ever. It's because your expectations are so high. Instead, just going in there and like, let's just see what's gonna happen. And that's why I'm kind of doing these vlogs. I just want to see if I can do that more. I want to see if I can see what's gonna happen without any expectations or judgments. So in my eyes, you know, like the trip was a failure based on my expectations. Now, if I didn't have expectations at all of what the trip was gonna be, I spent a whole weekend with some of my best friends. We got some epic footage of Lambo jumping off a dock and played with the drone. Like, that's all the stuff that worked, and all the stuff that didn't work, it worked anyways, because the experience was still there. How can you judge it good or bad? Like, I'm struggling with that now, which is maybe a really positive. So now I'm at a point in like my meditation where I struggle to judge like what's good, what's bad. Is there a good or a bad, or is there a just is? Maybe this will help you guys out a bit. Maybe not. Something in my guts told me to vlog about this today. Yeah, life's meant to be experienced. Curiosity will get you there.